Hey, hey. All right, everybody, welcome. How are you all doing today? Who do we have in the chat? Let's do the usual. We'll say the hellos. Young Super, as always, is in the chat. P is here, as always, keeping an eye on all you rascals. Christopher, I'm gonna have to have a look at this. So last I heard, I mean, I had an alert earlier to say Queen is under medical observation, so that could be something that progresses. Family by her side, that could be interesting. So yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say on the subject at the moment. I mean, that is going to throw a major spanner in the works if anything happens. If anything happens there, I mean, everything's just gonna, if you're in short positions and there's something up with the Queen, then you'll probably be okay. But yeah, I won't comment on that any further. I'm not aware of the situation. But maybe if we do see the markets moving, that might be something that we have to take a look at, as if we didn't have enough catalysts already. So, yeah, as if we didn't have enough catalysts within the markets already today. We have the European Central Bank conference that's ongoing right now. We've had the ECB rate announcement, so there's been a 75 basis points hike on that. We've got Powell speaking in like 5 minutes. So our good friend Jerome Powell is going to be talking. Usually when he talks, the markets do something crazy. Yeah, so interesting stuff. So we'll see what happens. It could be an interesting session. I will try and get through the TA as quickly as possible, and I'll get through the rest of the hellos here as well. No, there's too many hellos. Hi, everyone. The chat's, yeah, chat's in there. I should get myself a cup of tea. Yeah, patriotic, just in case anything crazy happens whilst we're doing this. So anyway, a few little bits that I want to go over just before we do get any craziness that's going to happen. I mean, we've already had a little bit of a start. So we did have the rates hike announcement earlier. It was as expected, but that brought us in a little bit of just a little bit of a shakeout earlier on. I was already positioned in a short, so I am short from the Asia high here. I have taken a short off of that, and I have also taken another short off of Ethereum. Now, I did short Ethereum yesterday. I got stopped out very, very quickly. So, yeah, now I'm basically just re-entering into that. So I am going to go over my plans. If we have a move to the upside, it's going to be a tricky one. Because the thing is, above us, we've got such a balanced profile above, and there is so much value that has been built here, that to know a level and to know where liquidity and where positions lie within that is tough. So we do have a global point of control that I am monitoring. That takes us from exactly the point in which we broke down. Okay, so that is our global point of control. That is the POC. If we go all the way back through the entire summer, that is where we've seen the most volume on the charts. And you can see here, it gave us a nice breakdown as soon as that was lost and back tested as resistance. That is what gave us a really good breakdown in price. And if we are to come back into that, that will be something to pay close attention to. But I have a feeling if there's going to be an up move, it's going to be like we're seeing the volatility start to increase again here quite dramatically. So if we are going to see an up move, I think it could be a pretty epic squeeze. I don't think we're going to get an up move. I'm looking at down. But so I can go over the targets to the downside, but if we do get a move up, like literally there's that. And if you get through that, then it is going to be a 10, 15, 20% move to the upside. I just don't see any other reason why that can't happen, why we can't get a very, very large move to the upside if you get through that POC. So that's what's important right now. We've gone high enough as a short squeeze off of the dump yesterday to back test previous support as resistance. Now I am expecting a little bit further downside, even if it just keeps things internal within here. So I'm going to start off here with Bitcoin. Just before we get through anything, there's a couple of levels that I am looking at, and for myself, it is, we had a bounce off of the 382 last night, so we had the nice move up, and if you come back down into here, we had an impulse up you come back in, you test into that region. This was also a little region of single prints that we had here. So if we do just go from where you spike down, you then have an impulse up, look where it came into, pretty much like spot on into that, basically into that gap. Okay, so you filled that. There was a 382 as confluence there, which gives you confidence there. Bear with me, phone call, hold on. Maybe this is an important phone call to say someone is... No. I'm back. Summon to Balmoral. Yeah, hey, maybe. No, that isn't the case. So yes, two areas that I'm looking at to the downside. I just needed to check what Powell was going to say to make sure I didn't need to close out of any short positions before getting this, but I'm expecting to move down. I think we're going to get the move down. It's already happening, so this is happy days. I'm in a short from up here, so that's very, very nice. At this stage it was a really good entry, so I'm happy. Looking at previous New York low, so this is where we have liquidity in the chart, so we do have confluence down here. So this is our New York session yesterday. This is the low that was put in during the New York session yesterday. We had a nice move up. I am expecting that liquidity at the very least to be taken. The way that it just starts to kind of slope up here, there's going to be plenty of stops within this region that we can continue to shake out. So a move down to there would be very nice, then a bounce. I would be looking at something like this that bounces back up, and then we maybe come back down to take out the London lows. And this is what I'm really looking at, is there's nice balance that's been basically within this range here. I would like to come and see the point in which we started to break up out of that taken as well. So we've got the London lows and the New York lows as two levels that are fairly important to the downside. So that is Bitcoin. We'll just continue to see what happens here. I'm going to place an alert here if we get anything in the opposite direction. Let's just say if we come back up to daily open. If we come back up to daily open, I don't really want to be short, because if you get through that, then that position's in a bit of danger. If we take out lows somewhere around here, then let's be alerted as well. But we don't really need to continue looking at Bitcoin. It's just, let's just see where it ends up. In fact, let's just take it into there, because let's see what the reaction is if we come into that region there. Yeah, that looks decent enough to me. So, water. That's Bitcoin. Nothing more to update on that. I'll go over some of the trades that we've taken recently as well. If there is anyone in here who would like to know, I uploaded a video yesterday about the short position that we took from like literally that high. So if anyone's interested in watching that video, so this is a really, really nice short position. It basically, we've had people that have asked previously on the YouTube about uploading trading rooms and stuff. So for those of you who aren't in the crew, about uploading the trading rooms so you guys can get an idea of what goes on in those trading rooms. So we did a trading room a couple of days ago where we had a short position that we caught like a few dollars off of the high, like perfectly. Based off of order flow, we were reading it as we were coming into that and just got the best entry like you could possibly imagine, managing to get that short all the way down there. So that was really nice. So if you do want to just see what goes on within those trading rooms, it's just the last video that I uploaded on YouTube, so some clickbaity title like epic short whatever. So yeah, everyone within the crew was short on that day, and we made some very, very, very good profit, which was very nice. So do go check that out. Do go check that out. The Powell stuff's, I mean, it doesn't really matter what Powell says, it's just going to cause volatility, so I'm not really going to update upon that. I'm just going to stick with the TA. The technicals is what's important, and that's what we're going to stick with. Next, Ethereum. Okay, so we're also short on Ethereum on the same day. So the video that we have on the YouTube, again, if you do go and check out that video, if you do go, whoa, what have I just done? Whoop. If you do go check out that video, please do go and comment on it and like it, because it doesn't do as well with the rhythms as the update videos. So it would be very nice if people can go and comment on that and stuff as well. Hold on. Don't troll me with the... Don't troll me with this. I need to hashtag Queen on Twitter just so I know if there's anything. Don't say anything. Slippage. That's not... All right. Anyway, so yeah, we do go over the short position that we took from up there on Ethereum as well. And I'm in a similar position. So this is kind of what I'm looking for on ETH. Now, this is a bit of a squiggly line. So I am in a short. There are levels that I am interested in, and I will be continuing to monitor those. So once again, the short that I took was today. So I didn't really have a chance to short this yesterday. I did take a short yesterday, and that got quickly stopped out. So yeah, haven't really participated in this move up. So short from the highs and then being able to get another one down here. And realistically, I'm looking for another move down towards these lows, towards the 4-hour OB on there. So if we can get this move, we do have a point of control coming in at 1,558. That is around about the golden pocket. We do also have the daily level from yesterday. That is there. So if we are to get further move to the downside on Ethereum, I would imagine it follows kind of this type of path. You have of interest within here. You have the point of control of the range, daily level 618. You come down into the 786 region, and that basically fills all the inefficiencies from the impulse up that we had yesterday. And then if we are to basically... Here's your range, there's your lows, there's your highs. That's what's important. I think a return down towards the lows of the range is what we can be looking at. So that's on Ethereum. Again, not too much more to update on that. Again, if we do get a move up, it's more difficult. The move down at the moment gives us... It's more tradable. Like the levels are nice. If we are to get a move up, once again, I really don't see... Unless we come up and take the highs, like 1,720, if we take these highs, possible SFP for that. So you'd be aware of coming up into here and then rejecting, and then this being a deviation with highs and lows. I hope everyone's following. Highs and lows with a deviation off of the high here. And then failing that, then the next level of interest I have above us is 1,845. You've got a daily level, you've got a 1-day OB. The daily OB is what has rejected us last time, and that's what gave us a nice move down. So bear with me again. I know this is a lot of technical stuff to be going over. There's your daily order block. That rejected us last time. We have another one above. Okay, so if it worked last time, if we do come up into there, then I would expect once again for that to give us a rejection. So that's... that again, my thoughts on Ethereum. So I'll keep it as that because there's quite a lot to... Yeah, hopefully everyone follows that. The ECB just announced they will keep excess liquidity huge for longer, and they will pay billions to the European banking system on that excess liquidity. No 75 base points. There is a 75 base points hike. I don't really know. Also, Samir, can you create some educational videos about order flow, or live would be better? I always go over order flow live. The thing is, check out the video from yesterday, okay? Because that was a trade that we took based off of order flow, and it is meant as an educational piece. So if you want an educational piece on that, then check out the video I uploaded yesterday. Although it's bragging about a short position, it is educational because you can see as we took that trade and what we were looking at. All of the stuff on order flows in the crew, because it's just no, like, come on. I can't talk about order flow on YouTube because no one gives a shit about it, to be honest. Like, people who are on YouTube and people who aren't really trading seriously, it's not going to do well on YouTube. It's in the crew. We do have educational material on that. So, yeah. I mean, we do have some stuff on there, but, yeah. DXY looks like a reversal, or am I wrong? Yeah, I'll go over that in a minute. I need to slow down. So I've done Bitcoin, I've done Ethereum. There's just a lot to cover, and I think I'm going a little bit fast. So we'll move on to DXY. So the thing with the DXY, it did have a very brief, like just SFP of the lows. Okay, so here's your market structure on the way up. So you have low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, come down, quick break of that. I wouldn't say that that is confirmed as a break of structure at that point. I don't think that that's enough to be a market structure change, because you've seen previously where it's dipped below and then very quickly shot back up again. So there is that. I'm not saying at all that we've changed market structure here. This is just typical of what the DXY has been doing, where it goes on these big old parabolic runs. We've seen this in the past. Okay, big parabolic run, it corrects for a little bit and then it just starts shooting up again. So currently it's very much the same as what we've seen there. It has broken a parabolic advance. It's coming back into a little bit of a 30-minute order block that we've got here. So we do have this 30-minute OB here, resistance. If we draw some fibs onto this as well, there's your 618. So you're at a zone of resistance here on the DXY. It has had a nice bounce off of that SFP of the lows. So that's been pretty decent. And you've come back up into resistance. So we'll continue to monitor this. Actually, if the DXY goes back above, see, 110's key. It's a really, really key level. I think at this point, if this continues higher, I'm going to set an alert there if that continues higher, because if it starts to get back within this region here, you can see as it was resistance once, twice, started to consolidate a bit, this basically being the deviation up at the highs. You don't really want to come back up into that area, because if it starts to hold, then you're looking at higher prices. If the DXY is going to reject, then it would likely be from this point here. So I'm going to set that alert on the dollar just there. So, and then again, I need to do one down at these lows. So if we do have a proper change in market structure and it starts to come back down, then that is what I think is important for myself to be looking at. And if we are going to get a bigger correction on the DXY, then I am looking for a move back down to around about 107. That's the wrong tool. Yeah, I moved down to around about 107. So is this going to be a lower high that gets put in for the first time, and then we're looking at a move down towards here? I don't know why I always got to put a bounce. It just has to go wee, and then we can look at some more continuation to the upside, or yeah, it's just going to be the dollar and it just continues. The S&P came into resistance. So this again is from the trading room yesterday that we were looking at. So at the time, the SPX was down here. We were looking at this order block, which is a bit of a breaker level again. So you have your consolidation, you briefly have a distribution above, and then you break through, disregarding that as support on the way down. Now, the fact that that was disregarded as support on the way down means that it's likely going to turn into resistance on the way back up. So that's where we are on here. So we do have that breaker type level, getting a slight pullback on the S&P. If we're looking at where this has potential to end up again, then it just makes sense for us to come back down, fill in basically more inefficiencies that we have down here. So on the SPX, if we can get that continued move to the downside, that would follow with the Bitcoin moves down. That would follow with the Ethereum moves down, and that just makes a bit more sense to me. Once again, if we are to see a move up, then it would be a bigger one. So the moves down are what's going to be nice and tradable locally. If this does start to break out, then I think it's going to be quite a big move, rather than something that we can trade as a day trader. I think it's one of those that you probably just have to, unless you're already positioned long, probably just have to wait that one out and just see where price comes into, because I would expect to move up to around about that 4,130 if there is a move up from this. And again, the Nasdaq's a similar situation. You do have a break of structure here where you have the downtrend, okay, and then you've broken out from that. Can it make again, coming back down in to fill those inefficiencies on here? Can it come down to make a higher low and then get the bounce? I think that's what we're looking at across everything right now. Draw a fib from the high to the low at DXY. I just did, right? I literally just did that. There. It's the 618. I just said that. Just said that. God. Okay. What are we doing? Where are we at? Nothing. Nothing's going on. I'm streaming, so nothing's going on. Whenever I stream, the market doesn't move. You have to wait until I stop streaming. It happened yesterday during the trading room. We had a trading room and ETH was just like grinding up, grinding up, grinding up. And we're like, come on, just hit the levels. Hit the levels, give us a trade. And it never did it. And then as soon as I stopped the trading room and I went off and I grabbed myself some lunch and I just chilled out for a bit, went to walk the dogs, the market just went boom and went crazy and I missed it all. And it's going to be a similar situation again today. We've got our New York Open in a few minutes and it just feels as if like we're just going to hang around here until I decide that I've had enough and then the market's going to move afterwards. You got some idiots shorting into the lows down here, which is nice. Just going to move this on to 200 volume. Was that people shorting into the lows, or is that just longs getting stopped? It's a bit of a combination of the two. Powell's already talking. The Powell speech is ongoing right now, I believe. Anyone know what Powell's talking about? Was it 210? And we've got the European Central Bank press conference. And then we've got natural gas storage, crude oil inventories. And then we've got Rogers speaking, consumer credit later on today. Lots of stuff as potential catalysts for the market today. What do we want to look at? Parla, Luke, do you think net longs and net shorts on EXO charts are useless? No, I don't. But I don't think, for me anyway, I don't find them to be as useful as just looking at the open interest in the CVD. You can get enough information from that. If I want to look at whether... If I want to be sure of what's going on, because the thing is sometimes you get a delay in the readings on the net longs and net shorts. It's not perfect. I can tell plenty from just reading what's on the footprint, knowing whether it's a position open, a position closed, and yeah, the CVD and the open interest is enough for myself. Boov has... Every time I see something about the Queen, I'm just going to put on BBC One Live. Stop trolling me on this because I need to know. It is a BBC News special. So this is actually kind of serious. So the BBC have switched to programming about the Queen. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So I'd imagine until there's an announcement about that and people know more about what's going on, yeah, we're probably unlikely to see anything within the market until there's some kind of confirmation. The British pound could be very interesting. And that could, wow, yeah. It's yeah, not just a bank holiday. I mean, this is what we're gonna get like 3 weeks off, everybody, or no, it's like 10 days or something, if that's the case. And I think, yeah, we'd have to look into things like what. I don't know if you doing streams on YouTube would like be allowed. Pound parity with USD inbound. Yeah, I think so. I mean, this would be really interesting. So what we've had on the British pound, I know we're just going over stuff. So where we are, I'm just going to go on to something that has a bit more history. Here we go. So the Great British Pound at the moment is at its lowest point since 1985. So this is April 1985, where the lowest that the pound went in comparison to the dollar was almost at parity. It went down to around $1.05. Now it's currently at $1.14. It's taken out the lows from COVID. So that happened yesterday with the GBP coming below, very, very, very briefly coming below the COVID lows from back here. Okay, so that then gave it its lowest point since 1985. And yeah, I mean, it's barely had a reaction off of this yet. So it is just very weak. You've had no real break in structure. The thing with the euro is at least when that came down to parity and it had a really important moment in the market, like, you know, if the euro is coming below that parity, you know there's going to be that demand there. People are going to want to get some euros because it's just yeah, like to come below parity is quite extreme for the euro itself. So when we did have that move down on euro USD, that there was just consistent, like it had a pretty decent bounce the first time. Like, you come into it, that is it there, isn't it? Yeah, so that was the first time. You have a pretty decent bounce. You start to create some nice harmonic off of that, and then you're just chopping around about that parity. So again, still where we are right now is just below. And actually on the euro, this is coming back into a really decent level here also. So once again, you've had that pullback on here, and you're just coming back in, filling in some gaps on the chart. So where this is at, I'm still thinking that the euro gets a bit of a rally. And I think the fact that the monetary policy within the EU is settling a little bit, they're back into interest rates. It's not really like that whole 20-year experiment of negative interest is just silly. So I would expect the euro to rally from this. I am still looking for higher prices on here, but again, it's just moving around, whereas the GBP is just, yeah, very weak at the moment. I wouldn't want to trade the pound against the dollar right now. And again, GBP against the euro is very weak as well here. So almost coming back down to take out local lows here. I know we're talking about Forex markets and global stuff, and you guys are more interested in crypto, but I think this is quite important to be looking at right now, because it has a massive bearing on the entire market. If you're not paying attention to what the currencies are doing at the moment, because everything is just revolving around what the DXY is doing, so you have to be paying attention to those markets. So we've taken out the London lows on Bitcoin, which is very good. Oh, we've already got the New York Open now. So you'd expect a bounce from this point. There's your London low. It says London high. I need to save one that says London low. We had those shorts opening into those lows. We were within the standard deviations of the VWAP, so again, this is really nice. VWAPs are always a good... Like every time you're coming into these standard deviations to the lows, you get a bounce, you get a bounce, you get a bounce, you get a bounce. When we come into it at the highs, whoops, here you get a rejection, rejection, rejection. So this has just been consistent. So coming back up into VWAP at this point would be a pretty good trade. Or long from the lows, coming back up into VWAP from there. Booth. Yes. If it's announced that the markets will close first of all. So if there is an official announcement, the thing is with crypto, it's not going to help. But I know that if the Queen passes, the UK markets will close just straight away. I would imagine the US markets would close as well on that day. But crypto can't do that. It's not like that. You can't turn off the switch in the crypto markets. So who knows how they're going to react. The thing is, the markets will turn off in order to basically protect themselves, because there will be panic across the entire world. Like, this will go through the entire world. It's crazy. She's like, whatever your thoughts are about like the royal family, that will be a huge news event, and it will have a massive impact globally, and it will be all any of us hear about for the next few weeks. So if that was to happen, I'm fairly certain global markets would close. I don't know what the rules are around that, but I would imagine that New York and London would both stop trading for the day. And yeah, but crypto can't do that. So I would guess a massive dump. I can't see any way how there wouldn't be a massive dump if that happens. So so where are we at on... Whoops, that's the wrong one. So we have gap down here on the SPX. We've gapped down into support. So again, you're just retracing the move up that we had yesterday. So you've got support here. There's pretty decent support within this little rounded bottom down at the lows. We now have a gap above. Yeah. Emo, I'm not sure. See, I don't know. Again, this is kind of, I don't know. I would imagine the UK markets would close. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating. If I was prepared, I had no idea that there was even speculation about this when I started streaming. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the markets will do. Heisenberg, doesn't the order flow look bearish? So I would say so. It's not really. Again, what can we read into this? Let's go on the 15-minute. Because all we've really seen over the past couple of days is just open interest dropping. So we had a pretty decent short squeeze yesterday. So you can see here, big increase in open interest on negative delta. And then you had a squeeze up out of that. So that's the same as on Ethereum. So we had a good squeeze. And then since then, it's as if all those positions have then closed out again. So right now we're pretty flat. Open interest is pretty flat. There's not... Where we are at the moment is we're caught within a higher time frame bearish break of structure to the downside, which would give a higher probability that we're going to see a bit more continuation to the downside, or at least to continue this range for a bit longer. I do still expect prices to come back down to within this area that we were at yesterday. However, what we're doing locally suggests that there could be a bit more upside to come from this. And if there is, then again, we're looking up towards that global point of control there. And if you break through that, then that's when things can really start to increase in the speed and to get very interesting. You've had a good opportunity for a long here after taking out the London lows. You've also had a good opportunity for a short after taking out the Asia highs during the London session. So I guess the target for now to the upside will be previous day high, which is up here. Everything internal has kind of been done. And then if this is going to make a lower high, then we're coming into our VWAP. So we've come into those standard deviations. We're going to see what the reaction is at VWAP. And depending on the reaction there, if we do start to roll over after coming into the VWAP, because we've not really seen that this has had any effect so far today. You've had a small move off of it earlier and then it quickly broke through. Again, I would expect that to reject initially. We'll see where that lies, and then we'll have a much clearer idea of whether we're going to be coming down here or whether this is just going to come through and break and take out the highs. So this is VWAP now, so we're just hitting into that so we can follow what's going on here. So you'd expect absorption at this point. There's not really that many longs opening up into it. There's a lot of shorts closing. So you've got shorts taking profit here. You can see immediately it was just stopped. And what you usually expect to see around the VWAP is it'll hold around this region for a while. Or you'd like to see it hold around this region for a while. You've got to get an idea of whether this is going to hold as resistance or whether we're going to flip it into support. So let's see if this can block out within this region. It starts just to hold up here, and then depending on what we're seeing on the open interest, depending on what we're seeing with the delta, then that can give us an idea of whether this is just going to hold and we're going to get that rejection down, depending if we're getting a load of longs opening up into this and they're being absorbed, or whether it's just going to break straight through and we're coming back up towards your daily open, the previous day lows, previous day highs, sorry, and so on. This is the thing, this is why it's such a nice level. Immediately, you've already had like a pretty decent scalp trade off of that. So you just tap the level and you can scalp that straight away. Long's taking profit. That's what I mean. Long's taking profit on a move into VWAP. There you go. So come back into it again. Shorts closing out. I can't even remember what I said. Do we have any excess above? So now you're seeing again shorts being stopped, longs starting to open up into this, and there being a little bit of absorption. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of through it. You've got a little bit of wiggle room for this. Back into daily open. So yeah, just continuing that trend on from today. Like, again, you've had brief reactions off of it again, like we saw here, and then it just breaks through. SPX coming up to fill the gap then, I would guess. Yeah. Put an alert here when we get close to that. You've got VWAP on the S&P 3974. Okay. So DXY is pulling back after, but again it's coming into support. So you hit that 618. You've had that rejection off of that, and now it's back into support again. LM Euro USD. Yeah, still think a bit more of a move up. GBP is a VWAP. Everything's a VWAP. Long all stable coins. I really wish Apple would just come in there. So close. So close to hitting a target there on Apple. Where's gold at? Yeah, it's just shaking everything out at the moment. Every time open interest starts to increase, it just gets crushed back down. Okay. Procs seem to always get chopped up when tracking BTC and SPX together, totally different markets and how they behave. Any tips? So at the moment we've actually, like, the correlation hasn't really been there for the past week. So what you would usually expect to see is there being a very, very heavy correlation between what Bitcoin's doing and what the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are doing, but the correlation's not quite been there this week. I think Bitcoin's been moving a little bit more independently of that. It's actually been a bit more related to what the DXY is doing. So we're finding, look, when you have these really, like, the bigger moves on the DXY, it seems that Bitcoin is reacting more to that than it is to what other assets are doing at the moment. So we've almost switched away from that. Like a couple of weeks ago, you could just have been looking at things, and to trade Bitcoin, you're essentially just trading the Nasdaq or the ES. So yeah, now because we've had these two moves, so this happening again, it was in the New York session, but it's not, the S&P didn't dump at that point. It just came back, just had a small pullback. And then again, that big short squeeze that we had yesterday was after the market had closed. So we are seeing that correlation start to disappear slightly, and Bitcoin trading a little bit more independently. It makes it a bit more tricky because of everything that's been going on, and because we're also used to just seeing that correlation there. It's starting to yeah, I think people are getting a little bit caught out by the fact that Bitcoin's increasing in volatility again. But this is what we were saying, like the volatility was so low the other day, and if I just pull it back up on here, your historical volatility index, is we knew the volatility was coming. And again, if you watch the video that I uploaded yesterday, this is just basically saying, and this was a trading room that we took on Tuesday morning, and then we had the big move on Tuesday afternoon, and we were saying on that day that we're going to get a violent move. We're going to get that on Bitcoin, but not necessarily with the rest of the markets. But there was just no way, nowhere else for Bitcoin to move. So yeah, we are seeing the volatility increase. We're seeing the correlation decrease. And that's because Bitcoin is just being more volatile anyway. There's still a relationship between the two. Like obviously if the S&P starts pumping, then Bitcoin's probably going to do the same. If the S&P starts dumping, then Bitcoin's probably going to do the same. But it's not like tick for tick like it was recently. So yeah, it's kind of nice because you can trade it independently now again. But yeah, certainly when you're tracking both of them, like, yeah, they're just behaving a bit differently to how they have been recently. It's quite tricky to read at the moment, the price action. You're getting good local trades, but to have any confidence in holding is difficult. Like here, Asia high is taken, you have a move down. London low is taken, you have a move up. It's pretty decent, but it's kind of also very very impulsive, all the moves that we're getting right now. Yes. I'm not using markers on this, TPO. So at the moment, on my... yeah. At the moment, I'm just Immortalist. I'm just using 20 tick across the board currently, because we're at lower volume at the moment. Sometimes when we've been going through periods of higher volume and there's a lot more going on within the markets and the order flow is a bit easier to, or giving us a better read, then I move things down onto kind of like 2 tick and stuff for a daily. But I'm sticking to 20 tick at the moment. I just like to have things $10 areas. I think that's accurate enough for myself. So when I'm looking at the TPO and everything, the thing is, if I go down onto 1 tick or something for the markers, and I can just move down onto 1 tick for the markers, sorry, 20, yeah, then it really skews what's going on, and you end up getting some odd readings on the tick settings and the marker settings. So yeah, overall in general, I'm just using 20 tick for now. I think that's what's working for me, because I like to just find areas rather than it being like too accurate, I guess. Because the thing with 1 tick and 2 tick is, if you get like one person can just fat finger an order in of a few $1 million, and suddenly the point of control will just move there within to that very point. Yeah, it's just not enough volume, I think, to use low tick sizes at the moment for myself. Well, how are you managing your ETH shorts? Did you close it? No. No, still short on ETH. I mean, I'd taken a short from yesterday. Yeah, realistically, if you start to break through this 1 day order block, and even if we take out the highs of the day and without an SFP, I'd probably just close out of that just to be safe. Like, I made really good profit on the move down. So, and I do think, again, on Ethereum, I do think if we are going to start to break out here, then it's going to be quite a big move. So we're looking at almost like we're sat right in the middle, and this so easily could, if we're not going to get this move down to take liquidity at the lows, then I mean, we're almost certainly looking at something like this on Ethereum that comes up to this region here. So yeah. It's right in the middle of just a big region at the moment. Again, I think 20 tick. So the only thing that I'm not using 20 tick for at the moment is on a daily profile, which, no, still 20 tick. Yeah, just $10 increments for me. Keep it simple. I'm sorry, this is an ETH chart, but on BTC, so on my volume profile, when I'm just looking at the daily NPOCs, I used to use 50 for that, but that was back during the bull market when we were having moves of like $3,000-$4,000 a day. Now it's much smaller ranges. So yeah, $10 increments is fine. 20 tick. S&P's filling the gap. Just got another phone call. Hold on. I'm back. How many likes have we got on here? Only 47. Okay, everyone hit the like button. And we will... Let's see if we can get this up to we've got 126 viewers in here. Let's see if we can get it up to 80 likes. And of course, in the meantime, I will do the usual thing. If you are new to the channel, please do go and check out toroscrypto.com, where you can find out more information about our community. The link is up the top there above my head. You can find out loads more stuff. We do have our partners on here as well. So at the moment with Bybit, we are able to offer 0 fees on all limit orders. There is 0 fees on spot. You can get a free $100 trading position if you open a new account on there. So that is a new offer that we are able to offer, and up to 4,500 in bonuses. So you can click that and that will take you through to Bybit. We're also partnered with Exocharts. For any of those of you who like to trade Forex markets, who like to trade the S&P, the Nasdaq and that kind of thing, we would recommend using PRIME XBT. That is a very nice exchange, and you can get 7% deposit bonus and 25% off all of your fees if you do click through on this link here. This can also give you more information about the crew. So if you go click on the crew section, again, this gives you more information about the crew community and the basically what it is that we offer. So we do live trading rooms. If you would like an example of the live trading rooms that we do, there is a highlights video that I uploaded yesterday onto YouTube that takes you through the short position that we took a couple of days ago. We have playbook strategies that are really nice, kind of easy step-by-step trades that you can take every day. We've got thousands of hours of educational content. You can access all of the templates that you see on here within Exocharts. We do Exocharts giveaways within the crew, so you can scroll down here and you can see basically everything that's on offer within our crew membership there. So yes, if you are new to the channel and you have not seen our streams before and you're interested in that, then please do go and check that out. There's also a little contact us. It's actually a little bit hidden there at the bottom of the screen, but there's a little contact us button down there. So if you do have any questions or there's anything you would like to ask us, then you can click the contact us button and you can speak to, it'll probably be P, who is our lovely moderator in the chat. You can speak to him and ask him more about the community itself. So yeah, we're up to 80 likes. That was good timing, wasn't it? I asked for 80 likes and that's how long it took. Perfect. Back into VWAP. It hasn't really done anything so far today, so let's see. Let's see if finally it can start to get some kind of reaction. But it's not really been doing very much. When do we get our members stripy t-shirts? I don't know. Man, all these times that people have asked about Toros merch and we've never actually got around to doing it. One day. Immortalist, I've just seen your thing again. So when there is more volatility in the market, then for daily, weekly, monthly, would you use like 50, 60, 150? So no, I'd never really go above. So the only thing that I'd go to 50 on is just for a profile like this. So I'd use 50 tick for a profile like this. I think this is, yeah, it is on 20. So you can see here it's on 20 tick. The thing is, it used to be nice on 50, but now like that's blocking up too much, because we're just not getting the same kind of movements as we were last year. So 20 ticks really nice, $10 increments, nice and simple. Things would need to go back above like 50, 60k again, up towards like 100 and 100k or whatever. So yeah, in order for me to increase that, when we do get more volatility and there's more volume into the markets, I can lower the tick size, because then you're actually getting more trades happening at every little price point. So you can go down to like a lower tick size, but for now I'm, yeah, just 20 ticks, just nice. It's nice and simple. This market's just, I don't really know what to say on it at the moment. It's This is very back and forth. There's nothing really happening here. Pop Inu, yeah, so we are also, so if I do just go back onto here and we go back onto the home page, so if you do, for those of you who are interested, if you do sign up to PRIME XBT, we need to hit a certain number of users, and basically once enough people have, we thought we'd have it, but it seems no one's really wanting to trade on this exchange and no one really wants to take advantage of the offer. So once we have enough people on there who are trading, hopefully that will be soon, then we are going to do a $1,000 giveaway. I promise that will happen at some point. I just don't know when it will happen yet. It needs to be unlocked for us. We thought we'd be able to get like a few people signed up onto this, but I think there's like 3 of you guys who are trading on here at the moment. So if anyone is interested, the thing is with PRIME XBT, it's really nice. It's a good exchange where you can like, we love Bybit as an exchange for trading crypto and for trading Bitcoin and for trading Ethereum. I still use Bybit every day. But if I'm looking to trade, for example, the Euro USD, and I want to take a trade on the Euro USD and I want to use USDT as collateral for that, then PRIME XBT is fantastic because you can trade these markets, which you simply can't do on any other crypto exchange, using your crypto as collateral. So you can trade the S&P 500, you can trade the Nasdaq, you can trade the Euro USD, you can trade a derivative of the DXY, you can trade gold, you can trade oil, all using either Bitcoin or USDT or Ethereum or USDC as collateral. So it's a good platform to be using. So for those of you who are interested, once again, there is a link on the website. You can use those codes that are highlighted there to give yourself a reduction on fees. And to get a nice bonus, 7% deposit bonus. So if you deposit 10 grand, you get $700. Mortalis, yeah. Okay, so visually it's very different, right? I'm going over tick sizes a lot, but I am going to continue to answer these questions. Visually, it depends. So marker settings is what I've been talking about. Marker settings, 20 tick is what I like. I like to keep all my markers consistent. I like to just keep $10 increments on my markers. Now, if we go on to this is on 10 tick. Now, what I'm looking at here is on a volume 200. So this is a much more, I'm really zooming into the market on here. And this basically is grouping things a little bit less. So this is a 10 tick chart, and it just means that because of, just from a visual aspect, if I was to go on to 20 tick for here, you're not really getting much data within each candle. So just as a visual thing, I like to use 20 tick just to see more, 10 tick on this just to see more data. If I go over onto here, and I'm using this, again, this is 10 tick, and this is my volume profile for each session. So this starts to just go into a little bit finer detail than what I'm seeing on the markers itself. So the markers give me a region, and then I'm getting a bit more detail out of the actual visual thing. And then over here, if I go onto the TPO, again, it's very much visual. I'm using 40 ticks, so I'm using $10, $20 increments. If I was to use 20, you wouldn't see. It's too much. You got to zoom in too much, okay? If I was to use 50, and I used to use 50 a lot, then again, it's almost blocking out too much there. So it's visual and markers are very different. So on a TPO, 40 ticks working really well. That's the kind of number that the volatility calls for. You got $20 increments, but still the marker settings are on 20. Hopefully that explains it. So as the visual aspect and the way that the levels are calculated is a slightly different thing on EXO. And we're coming back down to the lows again. Drop off in open interest. Short starting to open up into the bounce, long starting to as well. This is really not a very good read right now on this market. It's just crushing open interest continuously. Yes, and PRIME XBT has no KYC, but those of you who are in the US of A will have to have a certain get around in order to access the exchange. But that is something that I'm sure everyone uses already. Right. I think I might wrap it up. We've been live for over an hour. So I think I might wrap it up. I think I might see what's actually going on with everything that's happening with the Queen and stuff. It sounds really awful, but it's like, it'd be kind of anticlimactic if there's nothing interesting that's happening there, considering that everyone's like, oh my god, the Queen. But we'll see. So I'll do a little recap for you, because again, we haven't really had anything to trade. So final recap, I am in a short position. Everything that's happened during the session has just been internal. It hasn't really changed what I am thinking of in the whole market. We've had the S&P that's just come up and done its little gap fill. So that's why we had a bit of a bounce there on Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything as well. I am looking for more downside simply for the fact that that is easier to trade at the moment. So if we do get a move to the downside, it's really nice, okay? What we have down there is we do have confluence with the previous day point of control, we have the New York lows, and we have your golden pocket that are all coming in around that 18,800 to 18,750 region on the chart there. We also have nice liquidity that is lower, so if we take out the London lows, and if we're coming back down into the lows of the range we put in yesterday, that would give us some really good stuff to trade. So we could look at something like this, getting a bounce, and then getting some continuation lower. That gives us nice day trading stuff to be looking at. If we are to get a move up, I think that the move up will be very much more impulsive, and I think that will be another short squeeze. So we're going to have to build some short positions in here somewhere, somehow, and if it keeps coming into these lows and people expecting it to break down, then that can be how we could start to generate enough shorts to get that squeeze. The only real level that I'm looking at above, if we do move up, is the global point of control, which is roughly 19,775, 19,800. Okay, that is the point in which, even if you go onto the very low time frames here, that is the point in which we broke down and had that massive dump on Tuesday. Okay, so that again is a very important region. We do have a little level in between. We do have the VWAP close from that day, and that could give us an SFP off of previous day highs, and then we could again look to just continue this range on a little bit. But I have a feeling that if we are to get a move up, it will be quite impulsive, and it will be characteristic of another short squeeze similar to what we saw yesterday here. So that's Bitcoin. The move down will be easier to trade. The move up, I think, will be more impulsive. And if you get through the global POC, then honestly, I'm looking at quite a big move higher. I think we'll start to form a trending move. And I think that will take us up towards, like, potentially up towards about 22K. Again, if you look at where we've come from and you look at where we are within this range, I do think that a move up from here through the POC of the range, and on this, like, this is a very big range that we're in. This is ultimately what you'd be looking at. Okay, there's your point of control. If you can break through that, then it takes you all the way back up towards these highs of the range. And honestly, minimum target for that if you start to break through here. But I would say that there'd be a continuous uptrend. Whatever way this breaks, I think the trend will continue, because we're getting that pickup in volatility. Is this going to be just basically a sweep down of the lows that takes out all this internal liquidity but still keeps this one intact? This is the important low that you can't take if you're to have a bit of, if this is going to be a macro higher low that we put in. And then that sends us on a trending move higher. Or if we do come back into this region, then I think we'll get a trend down into those kind of 16, 17K regions. So we are going to be getting bigger moves over the next few weeks. I'm fairly certain of it. It's just at the moment, it's quite difficult to understand where that is, because the market structure here is down, right? But you're forming the divergences, you're at the lows of the range, you're still holding the important support, you're still within this big daily order block, which is not big daily order block, 4-hour order block, which is important support here. And as long as that holds, then you would imagine that this has the potential to change that market structure and to form an uptrend. So on Ethereum, it's a similar situation. I'm locally looking for a move down, okay, because I think that gives us more to trade from a day trading perspective. So if we go onto here, I think this gives us much more to trade. You've got really nice levels. You've got the POC of this local range coming in at your golden pocket, coming in at the daily level. And then you've got liquidity down at these lows here. So you can see here, for those of you SMC guys who like that, fair value gap down here that comes into a nice order block, 4-hour OB. And that will be more tradable from a day trading perspective. Again, if we are to get a move up from here, it will be more impulsive. So once again, you've only really got the options then of an SFP off of these highs. But ultimately, I think that would take you into the next daily order block, which is up here at 1845. Okay, so again, you're looking at a nice day trading move down with giving you levels to trade in both ways, or I think a quite impulsive move up, which will be a bit more difficult to trade. Same situation on the S&P, okay? You've come into your first level of resistance. This is what we had identified yesterday. You've come back into a nice order block here. Again, let me just zoom in. There's a 30-minute OB. That fills in some inefficiencies on the chart there. You've had a gap fill off of this after gapping down. And what we have seen here is a break in market structure. Again, locally, okay? So you can see here, this high being taken out, a change of market structure there. And once again on the Nasdaq, you can see clearly here, there's a low, there's the high that forms the latest low, a change of market structure coming back in. Are we going to see a reversal off of this? Again, downside looks a bit better because there are better targets to the downside. But, so again, on the S&P, you could look down here and so on. But ultimately, a move up could be quite a big move. Sorry, I'm going crazy here. A move up could be quite a big move in comparison to the moves that we can see if we do have a move to the downside. Finally, if we go into the DXY, again, what has the DXY done? It's taken out local lows. Okay, so this was a very brief loss of that parabolic up move that it was in. It came down, took out these lows, bounced straight into the golden pocket. Again, you have a 30-minute order block here and has had a rejection. So it's very critical to the market. Are we going to see this continue down, and we're going to see the DXY start to do this and pull back into 107, which is my target for if we do get a short, if we do get a pullback on the dollar, so we can see a move that comes back down to 107 here? Or is this just going to be a fake out and we're going to see massive continuation? Again, I would like, and I am edging towards the markets breaking up over the next couple of weeks. I do think that a move down on the DXY is needed and would be healthy. I do think that we can get a bit more relief from the market taking us back to the highs of the range. But locally, I'm looking for that downtrend. So we're kind of caught in that weird limbo at the moment of lower time frames are saying one thing, higher time frames are saying another, and then you go on to a higher time frame again and it's saying something else. It really is mixed signals at the moment. And it's the same with like everything. You've got the Euro USD, which looks pretty good, and I'd still think that we're going to see a recovery from the Euro USD. You've got the GBP, the Great British Pound, which, unless something really serious is happening right now in Britain with the whole Queen situation, then I would expect this to get a recovery as well. It's at its lowest point since 1985. I would expect there to at least be a reaction, because we haven't even seen a reaction off of this low yet. So lots to talk about, lots of conflicting signals and things going on. Similar situation with gold. I'm still looking for liquidity to be taken lower, but you have come into a nice region on here and you're starting to form a bit of a decent uptrend. So yeah, that's basically that across the market. Hopefully everyone followed. Hopefully that gives you guys an idea of what I'm looking at, and that can give you some ideas to be trading. So yeah, again, finally, just before I wrap things up, Immortalist, if you ask me that, like maybe on the next stream or something, I don't really use this, to be honest. It's just there. I haven't used that for ages. I was using it when I was doing some really kind of quick scalpy stuff, but I'm not a fan of SMC style trading. It's nice to know where the order blocks and the gaps are, but for myself it's more just I'll check on it now and again if people are asking me, and I just need to go, okay, look, there's an order block, okay, look, we're in a big gap, but I don't need to know from an indicator that there's inefficiencies within that. So it's there as just a very quick visual aid if I need to throw it on the chart and show stuff that I might be missing on there. Back at VWAP again. Cool. Yeah, again, if you are new to the channel, then please do go and check out toroscrypto.com. Okay, there it is on the website, so you can find out more about our community. You can see about our partnerships. You can get yourselves really good discounts on fees and bonuses on PRIME XBT and Bybit. There's also, so again, what you see behind when I'm looking at the screen is on Exo charts. Within the crew, we do regular raffles of 1 month and 3 month giveaways for Exo charts, and you sometimes see me using Trading Light, so you can get a $40 credit on Trading Light by using the link that is there. If you would like to learn more about the crew, then you can click on the crew section, and that gives you more information about the crew. You can see testimonials here, and you can basically see all of this kind of stuff. If you would like to ask us any more questions, then down in the bottom corner is a little contact us button, and you can speak to one of the members of staff. But on that note, I'm going to say bye to everybody. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Please, if you have not already, click the like, or if you are not already subscribed to the channel, do that. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers. Bye.